Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now today, as you can probably see, we're going to be going back to do another video on the $5 Windows 98 Gateway Essential computer that I have done many videos on this channel. This was I actually got this computer, as I said, like as the name suggests, for $5, I believe about a year ago, at one of my thrift stores here in my area. And what I wanted to see, if we could do today is install Windows XP Vienna Edition on it. If you're not aware, Windows XP Vienna Edition, if you did not see the last video that I posted on this channel, which was, about a week ago, is basically a sort of like unofficial fan-made version of Windows XP that takes a lot of visual elements from Windows Vista and Windows 7 and brings it into a Windows XP environment. And what I thought we could do today is see if we can install that on this $5 Windows 98 PC right here. Because if you did not see this other video that I posted a couple months ago, I did a video where I was trying to see how far that I could push this computer, like how new of a Windows version that we could install on this computer without any problems. And spoiler alert, we only got to Windows XP. It would not upgrade to Windows Vista, and I believe that that has something to do with the very low amount of RAM that this computer has. So I thought, well, if we can't install Windows Vista, why don't we install XP Vienna Edition? So what I did is I copied the Windows Vienna Edition or Windows XP Vienna Edition ISO over to this CD right here, which is a first for one of these videos. I actually have a CD as opposed to a DVD because I did get a whole spiral of these for about $4 at one of my local thrift stores as well. So I do not have to change out the CD drive in this computer, so that is pretty cool as well. So let's just get started with this. I'm going to reach over here and eject the drive. We'll put the XP Vienna Edition ISO in it. It says this version of Windows requires a fresh install. Please reboot with the CD or DVD in to begin installation. So this is not anything that like Windows XP ever did. It would come up and give you a few different options that you could do. So this is pretty interesting. So we're going to go ahead and reboot here. And it gives us a error opening file. There is no application associated with the given file name, d-autorun reboot.cmd. Yeah, because it's like you can't have a .cmd file in Windows 98, so this was obviously not really designed with Windows 98 in mind. So, but I am kind of curious. Let's just go and explore this this disk here and see. I assume that it's, besides for this auto run feature here, it's probably going to have most of the same stuff that Windows XP has. It is obviously a version of, or a heavily modified version of Windows XP Pro, I believe. So all that stuff is still going to be in here. But you can see that it is like this was the actual name of the of this DVD, XP-Windows 7. So that is kind of interesting. It does not say that it is Vienna Edition. So we're just going to go ahead, I guess, and restart. Oh, and by the way, if you also weren't able to notice, here we are using a full HD monitor on Windows 98 here, which makes Windows 98 look actually pretty decent. So this is I got this monitor at a thrift store as well. I think I paid like what, $20 for it. I haven't really had like any real use for it yet. So I thought it would be pretty cool to use this one instead of the old 4x3 Dell monitor that I've been using in these videos so many times. So I'll just go ahead and zoom in here so you can see it a little bit better. Let me just readjust the camera there, and there we go. That looks pretty nice. So we're gonna go ahead and restart and see what this does. I'm hoping that it just will actually let me to auto boot to the CD. But we're going to find out together here. I assume that it's going to. It said that the DVD was bootable, so I don't know if we have to do anything. But yeah, I think that this, everything that's being outputted onto this monitor, there we go, I'm pressing a key to boot from CD. It's just going to be very stretched because of just the way that the monitor is. So you can see here it is super stretched out, but that's fine. I am going to try and make a new partition here. This is an 80 gig hard drive that I have in this computer, which was not factory. Obviously, this did not come with an 80 gig hard drive from the factory. I did actually have to put that in here because there was no hard drive in here when I got it. So this is our Windows 98 partition up here. The fat partition, as you can see, MS-DOS 6. And I'm going to try to leave that because I don't want to have to reinstall Windows 98. So I'm just going to go to the unpartitioned space. I want to create a partition, and I don't want to make it like the rest of the drive, so I'll maybe do like in megabytes. Let's like do 20 gigs, so 20,000. And there we go, we have a new unpartitioned space here. So that is 20 gigs in size, so we're going to install it on this. We're going to format it using the NTFS file system quickly because I don't feel like waiting for it to actually check the hard drive out, so we're just going to have it do a quick format. Yeah, so this will be actually very cool. I assume it's going to install the XP like bootloader to where you can pick either Windows XP or Windows 98. If I absolutely have to, I could just format Windows 98, but I would rather not do that because I have like I have reinstalled Windows 98 on this computer probably like 4 times ever since I've gotten it because I've done so many videos, and I just always want to put it back to Windows 98 to have it as a Windows 98 computer because that's obviously what it was designed to be. The main reason why I'm doing this is I'm kind of curious to see how Vienna Edition will handle all of its like visual effects and all of its third-party programs and all that on a super old computer. I mean, this computer came out around, I think that the date on the back says like May 2000, so about a year before Windows XP came out, like a year and a half before XP came out. So this was not really designed for XP, although it can run XP. It does it, sort of decently, as you may remember from my, like from that video where I like saw how far that I could upgrade this computer. So we're just gonna go ahead and let it copy its files over here. There's not really too much to say, so I'm probably just gonna pause the video here, and I will come back once we have finished this portion of the setup. And so we are back. I believe the computer has just restarted here, so I'm just waiting to see what it does next. So yeah, it is going to be booting back up here. Let me just readjust the camera a little bit. And it should prompt us if we want to boot to XP or 98. So I don't want to boot from the CD because we're already done with that. And yeah, it looks like it's just going into XP. Yeah. So as you can see right here, or it like just went away really fast. But that was the Windows Vista boot screen that XP Vienna Edition has. It's they've like kind of gone through and changed that to the Vista boot screen, which is pretty cool. And here we are. Loading up into the more graphical portion of the setup, as you can see here. So this looks like to be, like it's running fine here. This is, I mean, besides, I've kind of mentioned all this in that previous video, but really the only difference here is this background, and I believe this animation down here is a little bit different, but the rest of this, it's the exact same text, and here and in Windows XP Pro. So it says all the same stuff in Windows XP Pro. So this might actually take 39 minutes because this is on real hardware here. It's on like a lot older of a machine. So this could actually take 39 minutes. So I'm probably going to, again, just pause the video here and I will come back once it's finished up with this portion. Alright, so the computer has just finished up with that portion of the setup, and I believe next we're going to be booting into the out-of-box experience. So I'm just going to let it reboot here. And yeah, what I'm really interested in seeing, as I mentioned before, is how this older computer handles Vienna Edition. So it should prompt us if we want to boot. Okay, so here we go. So we can boot to XP or Microsoft Windows, which I assume is 98. So we're going to go to XP Professional. You can see that it obviously still says XP Professional. They did not really bother to change any of that around, but it's not really that big of a deal. We have again the Windows Vista boot screen, which is pretty cool that they added that in here as well. And yeah, so we're going to let it boot up here. That, by the way, that whole thing where like it said it was going to take about 39 minutes took close to 40 minutes, so it was actually pretty accurate. So we have, of course, the Windows Vista /7 cursor, and it's going to boot right up here into the out-of-box experience, as I mentioned. So we're just going to let it do that here. And yeah, it's definitely going a lot slower than it was in the virtual machine, but I mean that's to be expected. This is on real hardware that is, you know, quite old, so it is going to take a little bit for it to actually boot up here. And here we go. So there is no sound. I think that's like been like a major issue with this computer, is there's no sound that is like on this machine. I don't think, I actually don't even know if there's a sound card installed. I might like actually have to check that, but so we're just gonna go and, you know, go to next. Well, I mean, not right now, it doesn't really matter. We will all let it go through. We'll put in my name, and I want to set this up as, if we can choose the computer name. Okay, we can. So we'll go to finish. This computer, I think, has around 192. For some reason, I want to say it has 192 megabytes of RAM. I'm not sure if that's accurate or if that's just something else that I have memorized. But it's taking its time here on this screen. Yeah, this is where it goes through and it starts to like basically patch this version of XP to make it so it doesn't like ask for a product key, and it also installs all of its other stuff. So that actually didn't take really long at all. And here is going to install Rocket Dock up here. This I could not read this last time when I was doing this in the virtual machine because it was going by so quickly. So now, you know, we can actually see it, what it's actually doing. And here it goes, applying the theme to Windows XP here. So it's got a couple more things that it has to do. Okay, so you got the start menu. This has been happening with this computer. It first happened with Windows 98, but that was on the other monitor. But for some reason, like the like display settings are weird, and it has like a little portion of the screen off. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can change that, maybe make this so it doesn't look as bad. But you can see we have, there's like no aero glass transparency going on. That I think that might be one of these programs. I think it's this program True Transparency that we have to run. So yeah, it's got 1020. Can we go like 800 by 600? Yeah, so that's I mean that looks, I mean it like looks huge on this monitor, but it's, you know, very stretched out as you can see, because this is a widescreen monitor. But it only lets us go up to 24-bit color. I'm not sure if it was that way in the virtual machine. So we've got all of these. Actually, this is something I didn't even go over. There's all these other themes in here. So there's Aero Green, Aero Blue, Aero Black. There's like actually a ton of themes in here. DZ Vista, Crystal DB, Chinese Painting Vista, Blue World. There's all these themes in here, which is actually pretty cool. So let's go ahead and try out this Blue World one here and see if it really changes anything. Yeah, that's something that I totally did not go over, was this like blue theme here. And you could go and let's just go back to the well, what's Vista VG? Oh, this might actually look a little bit more like Vista. Yeah, this actually has like the huge start button down here as well. There's still no aero glass, but we have to run this True Transparency program, I believe, is what enables that. But I'm not sure if it's actually going to work, because it usually, yeah, it's not even doing it. Usually, is there any options we can do? Skin arrow. Yeah, it's not even well, let's try out Y shadow, because that gives us the shadow effects. Oh, there we go. So I don't know if that was Y shadow or if that was True Transparency, but you can see we've got transparency going on. It is a little bit laggy opening up. We'll open up my computer here. Yeah, it's actually working. That is pretty cool. It's having a little bit of an issue. It's not able to move this. Oh, can you not? Oh, now you can. Okay, it was for some reason. Oh, I forgot the arrow snap is not a thing on Windows XP. I'm like so used to like just like going up to the top here and just dragging the window down to minimize it. But I didn't want to close it. Yeah, I'm actually really impressed. That is actually way smoother than I thought it was going to be. I mean, let's go ahead. I'm not sure what the specifications are exactly of this computer, but let's go and check that out. So, in system properties here, this is a yeah, a 432 megahertz Intel. This is a Celeron with 192 megs of RAM. So I did have that, uh, like actually correct, which is pretty cool. Obviously, it's only 32-bit. This Windows Experience Index rating and this whole thing down here is all fake, so it's not like a 3.2 on the WEI index. But for 192 megs of RAM and a 432 megahertz processor, this is actually pretty good. I mean, it doesn't really lag at all. I mean, I thought for sure there was going to be just a ton of issues, but that actually works pretty nicely. Um, let's go ahead and I think there some changes to no, there weren't any changes to Task Manager. But let's see if we get like a ton of windows opened up here. So we'll open up that. We'll open up Internet Explorer. We'll open up Hardware Monitor. We'll just open up a ton of programs. And yeah, you can see when the window first opens up, if it opens up maximize, it kind of has like a little bit of an issue. Actually, I don't even know where, I guess, okay, just close Internet Explorer to bring up this. I don't want Task Manager on top. It always has this on top. Okay, there we go. So we just won't bother with that. Let's go hardware. Let's go to Hardware Monitor. Let's open up Core Temp here. It's not an Intel Core processor, so it's not even going to work. Okay. Let's open up Outlook Express. Maybe. I mean, this is. I'm honestly really surprised. I did not think that it was going to be able like to even handle one of these windows open. I thought for sure it was like going to be lagging or like the program would just crash. But yeah, even with all of these windows open, it's still somewhat usable. I mean, they do get a little bit laggy when there's, I mean, you can see now it's kind of having a little bit of trouble keeping all of the window contents inside of this window. You can see that like the bar up here is kind of a little bit delayed when it's moving to like a new position, but that's actually pretty nice. I mean, obviously you wouldn't really have all of these windows open at the same time, but yeah, I want to quit out of that. That is actually really cool. So that is with Y shadow, so it gives it a little bit of a shadow effect. I don't know if you can really see that, and true transparency on it at the same time. Yeah, so you can see here, like with just one window open, it's a lot smoother than it is with a bunch of them. It still lags a little bit, mainly up here with like this whole title bar, but it's definitely a lot smoother. So that is pretty cool. I mean, like again, this has a 432 megahertz, 192 megs of RAM. Not even 256 megs of RAM, and it's actually handling it pretty well. Um, so, yeah, I mean, let me just go into my computer here, and I want to, let's go into, where's Control Panel? Let's open up Control Panel here and see, can we get to the old system dialog? I guess not, but I mean, really, that's not a huge deal at all. Yeah, I mean, this whole theme actually looks pretty nice. So, oh, I think it was having trouble. Yeah, you can't really expand. Oh, you can. Oh, so you can't just drag it from this corner for some reason, like to make the window larger. But yeah, that is actually really nice. I mean, again, this computer could not handle Windows Vista. Windows Vista would not even open the installer because it had, it did not meet the minimum system requirements. But this does not have like a dedicated graphics card, so it's like basically running off of the computer's internal graphics. I'm honestly really impressed. I think that I said that like 20 times, but yeah. So can the $5 Windows 98 Gateway Essential PC handle XP Vienna Edition? Yes, it actually handles it shockingly well, which I am really surprised. So, yeah, would you want to use this operating system on a Windows 98 PC? Probably not, because I mean, this is the reason why I got this Windows 98 PC, was to run Windows 98 on it. I assume if you have like an older computer like this, you're probably using it as like an older, like classic game machine, that sort of thing. You want it to run like an older version of Windows, like 95 or 98. But just for the fun of it, I decided to actually try this out, and it actually works pretty well. So that's probably going to to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely be sure to give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe down below if you want to see more videos and experiments like this in the near future, as I can definitely do them. As always, guys, I want to just again thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.